So welcome to part number 13. So in this part we're going to fill the factory with some of these props. We got this iron metal piece and this can. We're putting these all over the place just to fill it with some objects so it doesn't look so empty. We already have these barrels, but it can use some smaller props as well. So let's start filling it with stuff. And welcome to part number 13 of the factory construction course. In the previous part, we focused on adding some smaller props and we focused on the concrete pillar. So we added some displacement, some yellow and black and yellow tape on it, but also props like tires and the safety pawns, some gloves. All kinds of props that makes the scene a bit more complete. So what I'd like to do is we make a render, we're doing a quick review, and then we continue with improving the scene by adding more props and changing some other things as well. But first, it's time for the render. So I'm pressing F12. Oh, that's the bad one. That was print screen, F12. And I'm pausing the video. So when we look at the render, we can see that some areas, like where my mouse is hovering, is a bit empty. And there are some problems with the water puddles because you can see these safety ponds and they are very weird reflecting. This has to do with the current normal color we added for the water puddle. That one needs to be changed by a normal image. And what I'd like to do overall is starting to add more objects, bigger ones, smaller ones, so they're going to work together. So the scene starts to get more inviting. But so far, we're doing a great job. And one big thing I like to change is the way the lighting is currently added in the scene. It's now shining through the window, what's pretty cool. But the more objects I add, the more I feel we need to change that, especially when we look at the roof. There's simply no light and it's very blurry and noisy. And I prefer to have the light from a different direction. It's pretty easy. I'll show you how that works. So I like to go to a new slot so I can render and preview it. So shading. So the first thing is changing the sun direction. So we go to render and we go to the world settings. I also like to just do the screen keys and we go to the mapping toggle, and right here on the Z-axis on location, we just change that. No, that's the wrong one. We need the Z-axis from the rotation, of course. Make that around 6 and more. Yeah, now we can see a little bit of light shining inside of the factory entrance. And that's nice because the objects in the foreground are now highlighted. We have some sun streak and then there is shadow. And this adds a little bit of depth in the scene. And in the background, we have some light streaks from the roof and here as well. So to me, this feels better. It's more natural. But the other light setup wasn't bad. So it's more that I feel more comfortable with this light setup. When working on scenes, there is no perfect setup. It's more which direction you want to go. So keep in mind that there is no one fixed solution for building the scene. You need to feel how it works. That's what I can explain. So next are these water puddles. That's the big ones because the normal map is just ruining it. What I like to do is go to the materials. We go to plates floor and we have to look at this node. So I picked a random color to have something there. But what we need to do is adding a non-color data normal image and just a clean one. I've got what? I've got that one. So I'm clicking on the duplicated image texture and there's a water folder with a normal. So this is water normal and how it looks is simply a plain normal image. Make this non-color, otherwise it won't work, and putting it right there. And this way you now have the right data. And then I think you can try playing with this because we changed, yeah, we need to just find something that fits the best, but this is good. We also need to do this for the concrete floor. So we have this same issue. Well, it's not an issue, I did it on purpose. Well, we need to change that. So go to the water, clicking it, non-color, that's perfect. And we're putting it there. It's not a lot of visible, but the biggest problem was these cones acting weird, and that's solved. Small change, big effect. All right, so next thing. What I like to do is starting to add more props in the scene. We already have the pallets and the tires and the barrel. But I like to also add the other barrels and importing some new props. So if you're watching this course with the basic pack you found on my Patreon, there's just a fixed set of props, but you have to go subscribe on the higher tier to get the full package. That's like how you help me working on the scenes, to give a little donation, and then you get like everything you want, all the props, but like this free version on my Patreon got like a lot of content, and of course this course is for free. So and I motivate also to pick one of your own models. Like this is just a set I offer, but if you got some own barrels or rubble things you can add, or you find it on the internet, you have to use that. Anyway, these barrels, let's select them. I don't really matter what kind of barrels, just these two barrels, and we putting them in the scene underneath the shelf right here. Go there. So yeah, there we go. And I'm aligning them. And if we go to the camera, they are sort of hidden behind the IBC. So I like to click on the camera and drag this a little bit to the right. And we zoom in, shift, tilt, move this a little bit that direction. So we have a better view, like so. Cool. We can also change this to 21, the focal length. We have a bit more view in the viewport from the camera. The door is now hidden, and that's also a sort of on purpose. We have a door, but it's not like in plain sight. That's perfect. So we have these barrels, and we have another one. I like to put that one close to the other shelf here. And we have to go down like so and move that downwards. Perfect. That's fine. So I like to continue adding more objects against this wall because it looks very empty, so it's a little bit distracting, an empty wall. I like to fill this with more objects, so I like to click. Just first I hide all these collections, click on props, and I go to File, Append, and I have to go to my plastic cans, mixed plastic cans. There it is, collection, and we importing them. Just drag them to the other side. I like to start with these big ones, and we have like that one, so I'm rotating it, that one as well, not perfectly, just a bit random, like so. No, keep that one. So we're selecting all of these. You don't need to scale them, they're already having the right size. So, and they're matching the floor. Perfect. How does it look? Okay, they're now feeling like they're a little bit close to each other. So, oh, I'm deselecting one of them and deselecting. So there's a bit more space. Okay, so yeah, okay. So we have these other props. We'll use them in a second. Next, I like to add, File, Append, a collection with plastic cans. And they're not really plastic cans. They're like paint cans. Oh yeah, the paint cans. So the collection is just the wrong name. And there are quite a lot of them. So look like this. I random select some of the biggest ones, like so. Just you can duplicate them or just use them like so. One on the foreground, one over here. I like randomization. Like so. We're selecting it and we're moving this to this direction on top of the palette. Like we're putting it right here. I'm spending quite a lot of time on objects in the foreground. I'm not like scattering stuff, or I like to have control on what I'm seeing, and this is a way that helps me. So I now have a random selection, and we will see in the render how that looks and if we need to change that. And what else do we have? Like this spray paint. I don't like to use that one over here. We rotate that one, make it a bit smaller, by the way. And it's just a piece of trash, like so. Cool, close to the barrel. I like to do exactly the same for another prop. Where is it? Use that one. And that one goes close to the tires. Let's just rotate it. And then we put it in position. All right, feels good. I have no idea, but I know what I'm doing. So do we have other things like this can? What if we just put this on the barrel? Like if you are in a room or you have your workspace, and you have like something you want to put away, you always put this on flat surfaces. So for example, if you have this barrel or like this area or on this top, if you just want to just put it away, you're looking for like just objects like this. And I can imagine that this thing is just standing here. And we take a look if that turns out well. And it looks like a very small object, but it makes sense. Let's go to the viewport. So we have some random objects here and there. And we can put something over here. A can or this one. Yeah, it's like a cleaning tube. I don't know. That's close to it. So something like this. Yeah, it's not merging inside of the barrel. So far, so good. Maybe we should just add a color to these objects, a viewport color, so it's easy to recognize. Like these more pinkish. This is more like a black color barrels. These can be needs to be something like bluish. And we have the cans, more greenish. Ooh, just making, or yellow. Something, no, green is not like the color we want. Blue. Okay, let's make it blue. I'm not sure, and the palettes can be yellow. Yeah. And these can be orange. The safety pawns. Small detail, and then we have these scatter objects. Oh, what color should we give them? That's hard. No, that's actually a good one. I don't want to stick too long. We're running out of colors. Okay. We can always change that later. But so far we have something right there. Okay. So, we now have objects here and there. I'm not finished with it. I'd just like to just grab some of these. Like so. And we're just moving them right here. So we have some more objects. And just trying to find like just a natural look. Something that could be like this, rotated. And I started with this in medieval scenes. Like I started adding a lot of barrels and chests just to fill my medieval scenes like years ago. And at some point I started to imagine like, or to think, why am I putting barrels everywhere? They need to have a sort of a function. Why are they just standing everywhere in my scene? So every object now has a reason. So that's pretty much it. So looking at all these objects, so this is sort of, I think, a different kind of, yeah, it's purplish. Other objects, yeah, of course. I mean, you have this piece of, I'm not doing this too much, but just some. We go crazy on this. Okay, it's just having the same color as the barrel. Don't want that. Maybe a bit whitish. Okay, that's hard to say. Anyway, so let's go for a new render. We do a quick review and then we continue with adding more objects. So I'm hitting F12. I'll pause the video. So we're doing a quick review. We have a new render and you can see the props I'm adding here and the can over there and the rubble over here. Is it perfect? Well, it can be improved. It's still looking a little bit weird. So we have to maybe add some more dust on it and some rubble. We'll get there, but you get the point, what I'm trying to achieve. So the painting cans on the top of the palette and these, yeah, they work pretty well. So from this point, I like to continue with adding more props. I'm just switching to number 2 and props. I like to add a fire extinguisher, file, append, and go to so many objects. There we have this. So the original one is from Polyhaven, and it was the Korean fire extinguisher, and I just improved, well, not improved, changed the textures a little bit, so it's now an English one. Fits this scene a bit better. Here we go. And because this concrete pillar has some displacement, I like to just check what happens if we render. That's the thing I hope they will ever improve, viewport displacement. So something like this will do. Cool. I got one over here and one over there. So, and I have to say that this area is a bit meshy, but that we will get there. That's not really important. We're going to improve some of the camera. We're making some camera adjustments, so this will all work out how I want that. But for now, it looks fine for me. So we have 2 of these fire extinguishers, and I also want to add some decals. So I'm doing props, file, append, and I'm going to decals. Here we have them. And I have to make this one, because these are separated objects, new. Oh, they're all open. And decals. Okay, file, append. And we go to decals. So instead of just adding the collection, there is no, or there is decals. Oh, now that's great. Exit, a fire sign, and a no smoke. I mean, there are not a lot of them, but they are actually pretty cool. And the reason I'm having a few is to show you the effect of some of these props or decals in the scene. So we have like the graffiti decals. I also have some bird poop we're going to add on the floor. So I'm going to check if this will match with the displacement. Unfortunately, this is the only way. There's a little bit of space, just a little bit. Well, you have to this way and add it. So like this, get a bit bigger. Like it's a sign for, hey, there's this fire extinguisher. Good. And I mean, it's like, I can show you what kind of decals these are. I don't like to simply add random stuff. You have no idea what we're doing. So we have these decals for the doors. And let's just move these Alt-H. Wow, okay. Select the decal. We have to do some cleanup as well in the scene. So these are going to be attached on the door, like so. A bit more in the middle, a bit bigger, and try to attach this so they are matching. There's no displacement here, so we'll be fine. Shift D, because we have two of these doors. There you go. Look at that. Sign. And we have the exit sign. So all of these objects are hand models, so like shelves are hand modeled. This is light scanned, these decals. And like barrels and plastic cans are photo scanned. There is no AI involved in this. I don't like it. I'm not against AI on some specific tasks that will improve things, but no artistic things. I don't like that. So yeah, we have it all applied. I also want one of these exit signs, Shift D, on the other door. I have to focus. Here we go. Exit sign. Cool. So at this point, we are going to do something fun, and that is electric cables. We're going to do some of them, and you can make this as wild as you can do. What I'd like to do is go to File, Append, go to the model list, Modular Electric Cables, Collection. It's a lot, boxes, cables, like everything. There we have it, it's already there, so we have to move it and rotate it, putting it somewhere in the scene. We're going to clean this up pretty soon, so here we go. So what you're watching is, well, Shift H and Material Preview, is a set I asked someone to make for me to fill a room like this with electricity. And we have like light switches. There should be some light switches and I cannot see them. Let me check. So I was a bit confused. There are some parts missing, but it turns out you just have to turn around and you get all the details. That was not my smartest move. So I'm rotating this. It's some organization. Just made a collection light cable parts. I'm sorry to confuse you a bit. So Shift H and go to Material Preview so I can show you what we have. So we have electrical cables and light switches. So what I like to do is make some small setup. I like to start with this one. And I'm duplicating. Oh, we have to do Alt H and bring everything back. Select it. Here we go again. Shift D. And we're moving this close to the pillar. So the problem with this is that the pillar acts a bit weird because of the displacement. So I'm now doing the material preview and I have to do render mode. So I'll have to wait. So we're in render mode and we check. Yeah, it's just floating around. Let's actually go to the material preview and just merge this. This should work as well. I just want to align this. You have to do this good. So we go to the front view. This is quite hard to see. So something like this. Shift D. Like this. And we are just going to the top. Shift D. We're already almost there. Shift D. And it's the final one. Okay. Then select all of these parts. It takes some time to make the first setup. And then just press G and Z key to just align this to the top. And I like to select a light switch. Which one is good? Which one? I'll go for this one. It looks pretty awesome. So I'm pressing Shift D. And same for this one. You need to align this with the cable. And GY. Let's go to the material preview. Like so. Okay, how does it look like? It's a very small asset. I think this one wasn't scaled yet, so I'm selecting it. And scaling this like so. Even one more away. Okay, a little bit more. There we go. So we have this tape, just putting it underneath it. And we have some electricity. Okay, so that's one. And what I'd like to do, simply copy and duplicate it, rotate it, and putting it to another wall like this. And putting it down like so. And I like to have another light switch. So now I like to select this one. So Shift D, moving it to the wall, rotating it like here. It's really hard to see. It's right there. You can use the X-ray. Not really. So I like to just merge that. So we have this light switch with a connector, something like that. Okay, and you can now duplicate these and put them everywhere where you want them. So let's also add like a switch on the other pillar, like so. How does it look? Yeah, you have to go to the material preview and align it. I mean, you get the point. Okay. And you can just try whatever you want, as many objects, light switches, put it, yeah, experiment with this. I'm not going to do more. That will be a little bit weird. Well, maybe one in the background. And that's pretty much what I like to do. Otherwise, I'm spending a lot of time just adding light switches. But it's also something that a lot of people lack in like a tutorial like this, because it takes a lot of time, so there's no explanation, and I kind of like, it's fun to just share these kind of details. I mean, these are available on Polyhaven, but whoever ever used them, well, this is how you can use them. Scaling could be better, but you now also know how to fix something when it's not off scale. So yeah, pretty cool. So what I'd like to do to finalize this part is something I already mentioned, and that's adding bird poop on the floor. That's like the final tweak, and then we move to the next part where we're taking a close look at filling the shelves. So bird poop, what's that? So when you have a factory, you'll have birds, and birds poop on the floor. What I'd like to do is adding like a new UV map, bird, just poop, like this. And I want to focus on the base color. We're duplicating the mix color. It's just one single image. And we go to decals, as it's called. Yeah, bird poop. So it's this image. And you're putting the color right there. And the alpha goes here. Then you go to add input, UV map, poop, right there. So what we will do now, because it's all one single mesh, we're going to edit mode, select everything, Ctrl L just to be sure. We go to UV editing. We have to select our texture, poop, bird poop. and we select everything that's highlighted, making it small. Okay, now you're sure there's no bird poop on the ground. When you go to material preview, there's nothing. So I could just use a noise texture and just paint away the ones I don't want, but I just only want some bird poop at this place, so we can later on maybe add more, like just a fixed size, just delete this, like so. Or you can just add this if you want. So I can go to the top, and that's really hard to select, so I have to just tweak this. So what you can do on the top is you project from view. So you have this. So I like to match this with just a very good piece of bird poop. And when you go to the camera view, you can see it's just a patch like this. So make it smaller and or close to the camera, whatever you like. Or you can just select a different piece over here. I mean, whatever you like so. Looks a little bit weird how I select these faces, but whatever works, right? You project from view and select a different patch. Like here, we have some bird poop. Material preview, and you can see over here, it works well. Make it smaller. And these details really makes fun. It's cool. One more detail is there is no dust on the ground, so I like to go to the color attribute dust, go to the vertex selection paint, and just start painting. So because there is some like of a grunge, not everywhere is dirt, but you can just paint around it. And that works. And then you can just do the rubble as well. Some rubble. Where do we want rubble? Just use this gently. You don't want them. I don't want them on the wall. So just right there. Maybe over here some. And some dust. So we paint dust. Okay. Object, I like to rotate this barrel to this direction. GY, GX. So cool. Let's make a render, do a quick review, and then we jump to the next part. Here we go. Well, let's say, yeah, it's already having a different one. Let's go to render and pause it. So we have a new image, and look at that. Yeah, we made quite a lot of changes. Look at the electric cables, the fire extinguisher, the dirt around the tires, and like all the objects we added. Are we finished? No, not yet, but we're getting close. Also the detail on the bird poop. I mean, it's small, but at the same time effective. And making environments is a long process, and we just have to take our time doing it good, doing it well, making renders, reviewing, adding more things, but finally we will get there. So one area where it's a little bit well, it looks like a bit meshy is that there is this door and there's a sign, you cannot see this, but we will fix that. You just have to watch the next tutorials to see what I'm doing. So next part is the shelves, and the shelves will just finish it because it's now an empty factory, and an empty factory is weird. And by adding like things on pallets, objects on pallets, we're wrapping them, we're having a top, putting it on, and that will just finalize the looks. And then it's just polishing, and we're wrapping this up. But look at that, even the puddles have a big improvement. So yeah, we're getting there, we're almost there, but not yet. So see you in the next part. Bye bye.